Alright, ciao, buongiorno, buonasera, my very first Q&A video. So that's how it's gonna work. The first part, I'm gonna answer your questions about Italian food while I'm making some pasta. In the second part, we're getting into my personal life while I'm eating it. I'm not gonna waste any more time and start with the very first question. What is the best sauce to go with gnocchi? Gnocchi are such a versatile dish. In Italy we do it a lot, also with seafood. If I have to pick, my favorite one is a simple tomato sauce. I like my gnocchi floated with tomato sauce. How many tomatoes should we use to make a tomato sauce? That's not an easy answer, because there's not a specific number, tomatoes might be different sizes. I would say that you want to count 3 or 4 average sized tomatoes per person. What is your favorite food to make and eat? Well, there's a big difference between making and eating it. My favorite food to eat is definitely a good, real Italian pizza, but it's not that easy to make at home. You gotta wait a long time for the dough and you need the right oven. My favorite food to make, I would say that is fresh pasta. I love how 2 simple ingredients like eggs and flour or water and flours can turn into a dough first and then into thousands of different pasta shapes. And I love the making process also because it's kind of therapeutic for me. I usually put some good music on and make some good fresh pasta. So that's it. Pizza, favorite dish to eat. Fresh pasta, favorite dish to make. Is bacon okay in the carbonara? Well, you probably wanted just to troll me, but you will be shocked. My answer is yes, bacon is okay. Carbonara was invented during World War II in Rome, during and after World War II, specifically for American soldiers. They used to ask, as a breakfast, bacon and eggs. During that period, someone had the idea to add to that the Italian most iconic dish, so pasta, and they created this pasta with bacon and eggs. It was just in the 70s that the authentic, oily, absolutely like that recipe carbonara came out. But before that, it was made with bacon. And also, in general, not just for carbonara, when you're cooking for yourself, the only rule to follow is your taste. Is it really that easy to make your own pasta? You make it seem so simple. If you feel like for me it's simple, it's just because I have a lot of experience. So it's not the easiest thing to do, but it's not even rocket science. What you need is just a little bit of experience. It cannot turn out great the very first time, but while you keep going, you're gonna master it in no time, trust me. What is your to-go meal when you're tired? It's exactly what I'm making right now. I usually don't use tomatoes because it's easier, but today I'm making a garlic and olive oil pasta and that's my to-go meal. In Italy we call it spaghettata di mezzanotte, midnight pasta, because it's what you eat usually after a night out with your friends or if you're just hungry at night, because it's quick, easy, made with ingredients that are always available, at least in an Italian kitchen, and delicious. So, aglio e olio. I use fresh shredded Parmesan cheese in my cacio e pepe, but it turned out clumpy. Should I use grated? So first off, cacio e pepe is made with pecorino romano DOP. If you don't know what that is, go watch the video on my profile about the cacio e pepe. And also Parmesan cheese, it's not a good cheese. The real one, it's called Parmigiano Reggiano. So if you use specifically Parmesan cheese, that's probably why. You wanna use either Pecorino Romano or Parmigiano Reggiano, which has nothing to do with Parmesan cheese. When you make Italian food in New York City, does it taste like home? Unfortunately, most of the time, it doesn't. The ingredients in Europe, especially in France and Italy, are just better because there is way more regulation in agriculture. So it's not the same thing. If you're starting with less quality, less flavorful ingredients, the final result, it's gonna be less flavorful, but I'm getting used to it and it's always better to use fresh ingredients as I'm doing instead of buying pre-made ones. Then, I'm learning, I'm finding my way. I always make my tomato sauce with little tomatoes, for example, because those are pretty flavorful. When it gets to the big ones, it's kind of hard finding the tomatoes as good as the ones in Italy. So in general, it's not the same, but you can still make amazing stuff. What do you love the most about catering, hosting dinners for and with people? So in general, when I cook mostly for other people, I put a lot of effort and love in it. I always imagine that I'm cooking for my family. So the thing that I love the most, it's when they come back in the kitchen to compliment with me about the food that I just made for them. It makes me feel very proud, of course, but also truly happy. And other than the romantic stuff, I gotta be honest, I like a lot the money that they give me. Here in New York, people have a lot of money, So every time that I have a dinner party, I make good money, you know, I'm just being honest. And of course, that's a part that I enjoy too, the payment process. What is burrata and where would you use it? So burrata, it's mozzarella's sister. It's very similar in shape and flavor, a little more mild in flavor, but when you cut it open, it's different. It's full of stracciatella inside, which is this very soft cheese. It becomes almost spreadable, and it's incredibly versatile. My favorite things to do is just using it in a caprese salad, so with tomatoes instead of mozzarella, but it's amazing just on a slice of bread with nothing else. It goes very well with prosciutto or other salumi. And it's great also with pasta. I have a recipe on my other social media profiles of pasta with burrata and tomato sauce, so go watch it. My 2 years old loved your Alfredo sauce. Any more recipes that are popular among Italian kids? So I'm gonna share absolutely more recipes that are kid friendly. You already have so many in my profile, but I put this question in my Q&A video because I wanted to say how grateful I am every time that I got those messages. I get hundreds of them, luckily, and makes me feel very, very, very proud. And it keeps me going in general when you guys appreciate my recipe, but mostly when kids are involved. Thank you very much for the feedback, because it's truly appreciated. Alright guys, we switch to the second part, my personal life question. I said that I was gonna do it while eating, but here I'm still cooking. So let's keep going with the easiest personal question of all. You guys already know my name, it's Marco. And I'm 27 years old. I'm about to turn 28 in June. I was born in 1997. How did you end up in America? Sorry guys, in the meantime I gotta switch on here this spaceship. It's a little loud, I'm sorry. How did you end up in America? So that's a really curious story because I grew up working in my family's restaurant and being a professional volleyball player. And at some point I just got bored of the lifestyle. I was looking to do something more, to see new places in the world, and I was thinking to go to Australia because the visa process is just easier. And I was saying those things as I'm saying it to you to a guy that was eating at my family's restaurant, and he was like, "Oh, I have a restaurant in the Upper West Side in New York, why don't you come and work with me?" And imagine me in my family's restaurant by the beach, this guy comes and tells you to go in the Upper West Side. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. He wanted my number, and the day after he started following up. He was like, okay, you gotta do this, and go on the visa website and do this, and look for this, and do that. And I just followed up, and ended up here 6 months after. So it was just pure luck. Why did you move to the US? Well, I guess I kinda already answered. I was just looking for something new, new experiences, and to really meet my potential in life, and New York City was the really right place to do that. And it's working, so I'm glad I did it. What do you miss the most about Italy? So I would say very easily my family. I'm very connected to my family. I have 2 brothers, and my mom has 7 siblings, so all my cousins pretty much in the same building. I really miss that. And also the food, of course. Here in New York you can find real, very good Italian food, but it's just extremely pricey. What here you get for $50, in Italy it's like 7, 8, 10 euros, $10. So I would say that I miss most my family, my food, and my dog. Then we got when I was a teenager, so we did a very important part of my life together. His name is Yoda, and I miss him so much too. How do you like living in New York City? Well, I truly love living here because the city is always full of experiences to do, full of new people. Every time you go out, there's a new pop-up store, a new skyscraper is about to reach the sky. So I really love this kind of energy that the city has. And even when you're home and you don't want to go out, today is like 20 degrees out, but you have still that feeling that if you want, you can go. So I really like the energy that gives you. Without that kind of energy, I wouldn't be here today. It's what pushed me to do more and more. The competition that there is in the city, the money that you have to make because it's very expensive, pushed me to do better and better every day. So I'm very thankful to the city and I love it. I still feel like I have so much to see, so much to do, even if I've been living here for 3 years. Can you tell us of your culinary experience? Yes, of course I can. As I said, my family owns a restaurant in Pescara, in my hometown. So I started cooking there when I was about 15, 16, let's say 16, because you cannot work when you're 15 in Italy. I started working there in the kitchen with my brother, who's a professional chef too. When I was about 16 years old, so I worked there for 7 years. I did some culinary school in Bologna, but just specifically about pasta making, and everything else self-taught. A lot of recipe books, a lot of food history books, and then just the experience in the field, in the kitchen. I also worked in the kitchen for 6 months here in New York City, and that's it, that's all my culinary experience. What inspired you to start posting your cooking videos on the internet? First off, I wanted to don't work in restaurants anymore. Because working in a restaurant, in a kitchen specifically, I feel like it's probably one of the most stressful jobs that you can do. Everyone is on a rush, you always have the timer going for every new dish that comes into the kitchen. Table 1 wants the pasta, table 2 wants the steak, and then table 1 wants the tiramisu, and you're always in a rush, you gotta be very precise, and it was really stressful. At some point I decided in my life that I don't want stress, so I had to leave the restaurant. So after I left the restaurant, I started posting recipes online, because I noticed that here in the US, way more than Italy, people rely on highly processed food or ready-to-go meals or just microwave meals, and I wanted to give you guys the tools to change that, to try to make some very good Italian and Mediterranean food with simple ingredients in an easy way. What kept me going was you. All of you guys with your feedbacks and your appreciation about what I do kept me going every day and post more recipes and film new videos. So thank you. Do you have siblings? Yes, I do have 2 brothers. One is younger, the other one is older. We were born in 1995, 1997 and 1999. Don't you miss your family? Well, I guess I kind of answered already. Yes, I do miss my family a lot. My brothers, as I said, but my entire family. I already said that too. My mom has 7 siblings, a lot of cousins. Also from my father's side, we're all very connected, we're all very close. And of course, I miss them. What is the dream you want to achieve in the next 5 years? So my dream is one day to own a farm, possibly in Italy, probably here in the US, just because it's easier, the bureaucratic process, and grow my own food and cook it for people in a home restaurant kind of style, so just a few people, probably no more than 20 at a time, and give them the food that I grow, the milk that comes from my cow, just the meat probably is not gonna come from my animals. That's my dream, that's what I'm working for, and of course, I'm gonna keep sharing with you all the process of growing my food, taking care of my animals, and the recipe that I cook, as I'm doing right now, but in a completely different environment, in my own farm, with my own family. So that's the dream that I'm working for. Do you feel split? What feels like home now? Well, if you ask me that, it's probably because you live in a foreign country too, so you kinda know the answer. And I gotta say that yes, I feel split sometimes, but home, it's still back in Italy. But when I go back, it's kind of hard, because in Italy you say, ti senti un pesce fuor d'acqua. You feel like a fish out of the water. I don't know if you guys say it too. I mean, you understand what it means. There is a reason if I left that place, and I wanted to be more free and to be my true self and to achieve my full potential, and that was just not possible. I like to say that I have 2 homes now. One is New York City, and the other one, of course, it is and it always will be Pescara, where my family is, where my heart is. So I hope that satisfies your question. Okay, pasta is ready. We got the last 2 questions, probably the ones that you guys wanted to hear the most. The first one, how much money do you make? So I'm not gonna be too specific exactly how much money I made last year, because internet is a dangerous place. But I would say that right now, since I started working with my agency, I make pretty much $6,000-7,000 per video when there is a brand deal, not every video that I post. So yes, and then I work with a catering company where I make about $35 per hour, and my dinner parties is usually about $1,500 profit each dinner party. Of course, depending also on how many people are having dinner. So yeah, that's it. Something close to 6 figures. And the last question, I don't know why you asked that. I said that you could ask personal questions. I just don't know what you're gonna do with my answer, but I have no problem answering. I like opening myself so other people have the courage to do that. I'm not gay, I'm bisexual. I like both men's and girls. If I have to pick a preference, I would say that I like a little bit more girls because I have the big desire of being a father one day. I know that you can be a father in many different ways nowadays, but you know, I would love to have a kid of my own with my wife and family, more like traditional, even if I hate this word. But I'm also open to everything. You know, if I fall in love with a man and we're gonna decide to adopt a kid, I have no problem doing it. Alright, my pasta is ready. For today, we're good with question and answers, but I had so many more that I'm gonna share in the following weeks here on YouTube. So you make sure you subscribe to the page, because you're not gonna see just Q&A videos, but also a lot of recipes similar to what I share on Instagram and TikTok, but longer, with a deeper explanation, with some history background behind their recipes or some ingredients. So again, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next Sunday. Un bacio, ciao, grazie.